Okay. All right. Very exciting. Good stuff going on. We've got a great interview today. We're broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube, and to our own great team at Century 21 Masters, Robert Perriello.
Yes.
All right. Good job. All right. Robert's joined us. We really appreciate your time. You're actually on the East Coast, correct?
Correct. Yes. So it's about 3:15 out here, 3:16.
Good. Perfect. And how was your prospecting this morning?
It was good. That was
Yeah.
good. Some of your agents had great results. I had 18 contacts today and one appointment set.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Do you prospect every day, Robert?
Always, for sure.
Always. Very good. So Robert, let's start off. Why don't you give us a little bit of the Reader's Digest version of where you work and how long in the business, and kind of go from there, and then we'll just kind of take it away.
Sure. Yeah. So I work in Hartford County, Connecticut, which is really just smack dab in the center of the state. This is my 5th year full time. Yeah.
Okay. Good job. What'd you do before real estate?
So I was actually a physical education teacher for about 11 years.
Really? So phys ed teacher, right to top producing real estate agent. I can see that.
Well, it wasn't that simple. For sure.
All right. So walk us through. So what was it? How many years ago did you start in real estate? 5 years, you said?
It's about 5 years. On my wife was due with our second child. So at the time I had a 2-year-old and a soon to be newborn, and it was June 2015. So about 5 years ago. And I went into my broker's office, and I've always, wanted to make the transition, just never have. And I said, I'm going to quit teaching. And they're like, whoa, you can't just quit. you need a plan, And I was like, well, tell me what to do. I said, I'll do anything. You just tell me what to do. And that's when they introduced me to Mike, to his teaching, so to speak. And I YouTubed everything I could, read everything that was on his website, looked at old agent interviews. I mean, I just kind of went nuts, taking it all in.
Good. Excellent. So you did that for a little while. And now, what it sounded like is you started part-time in real estate?
Well, I had my license. So yeah, good question. So I had my license about 5 years before that.
Okay.
Had never taken a listing, maybe had done 3 or 4 deals in that time, just like helping a friend here or there. I had learned I wanted to get into the investing side of real estate. So that's why I originally got my license, and just always had it and was always afraid to make the jump.
And how much money were you making at the time as a phys ed teacher? Was that what, physical education?
Yeah. About 60,000 a year.
Okay. And you had a family, and you decided that, okay, I'm going to stop doing that and I'm going to start doing this.
Yes.
Got it. And so tell me what happened the first year.
So I dove in. I literally did everything that Mike teaches. I prospect every day, never missed it, focused on listings. That first 6 months there, the end of 2015, I did 15 deals. And then the following year, my first year full-time, I did 47 deals.
So 15 deals the first half of the first year, got your feet wet, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then did almost 50 deals your first full year in the business?
Correct. Yes.
Wow. So tell me more about that. Tell me about the mindset that it takes and the guts that it takes to stop having a paycheck. And well, 60,000 isn't the end of the world money-wise, having it or not having it. But let me ask, what's 50 deals bring in Connecticut to you gross generally?
That first year, when I did 47 deals, I made $215,000.
Okay.
After everything. And for me, that was I never dreamed of doing that like that. I felt like I did it,
Wow.
At the time. Now I feel like that it's not even, I have so much to learn.
You come from a family that earning a couple $100,000 a year was a big deal?
Yeah, my parents were working class. My dad was a postman for 40 years. My mom was a secretary at a cardiologist's office. So we, great loving family, but we definitely, didn't come from money.
So the 60,000 you were making as a teacher was probably in about the range that they were earning.
Yeah, I thought at the time, it was safe and secure. Like I thought
Yeah.
I was doing what I was supposed to. I went to college, I got a safe, secure job, and that was actually really hard to give up. Like just taking that jump was honestly the hardest part of the whole thing.
So I want to talk about that for a second. Okay. Can you go to that period of time when you were struggling with that decision of you actually left the paycheck, or did you transition? What tell me about that?
No, I left. It was a summer, right? So it was, as a teacher here in Connecticut, we get July and August off, right?
Okay.
So it was literally July 1st or the beginning of the summer, and that's when I went into my broker's office and said, "Hey, I'm going to do this full time. Like I'm going to quit." And they said, "Well, go research Mike," and that's what I did. And I took that first 2 months to feel it out, and it was working. Like I was setting appointments, I was going on listings. Looking back, they were terrible listings. And if I had known that they were bad listings, maybe I wouldn't have quit. But I felt like I got this, and I just kind of let that momentum ride.
Good for you. Good job. Excellent. So the business came from just listed, just sold, expired, for sale by owners at the time. What was it?
So in the beginning, it was just expired in FSBOs. I started, like, I've always believed through this whole Mike Ferry process of learning and growing that, take one thing and just focus on it. Put all your energy into that. So at the time it was expireds and FSBOs, and I was making like 12 contacts a day, honestly, not a ton, but it would take me like 3 hours. It would take me a long time. And I was just diving into those.
Okay. And so mostly from expireds. Did you work your past client? Well, you didn't have past client, but you had a sphere of influence, right?
I guess. So I didn't work it, no. At the time, I had a sphere of influence, obviously, but I was getting results from the expireds and FSBOs, and I just kind of put all my energy into that at the time.
Okay, got it. Is there a lot of competition in your marketplace 5 years ago for expireds, or you were the only guy?
There was a lot of competition. Yeah, a lot of Keller Williams agents, some people from my office.
So what made you stand out? I mean, and get well. I mean, you're a new agent, relatively new.
Yeah.
You're working the scripts and dialogues. Did you practice a lot?
Yeah, in the beginning, yes. It was more like I would read them, and what I would do. This might sound silly, but I'd go home at night after the kids went to bed, and I would study the Mike Ferry scripts. And this is really important. I would think about the conversations that I was having in the daytime and where I was missing the appointment, right? And then I would think, what could I have said? What Mike Ferry answer could I use? And I got better that way by just trial and error, playing with different things. When you do it every day, you can try things, and if it doesn't work, you stop using it, right? And then if something works, it's like, oh, I got something, and you kind of stick with it.
So we call that dancing with the scripts.
Yeah.
But you had to learn the scripts in order to dance with them, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. And very good. Did you preview a lot of property? How did you learn the market?
So no, I didn't. And that's, I probably should have, but how I learned the market was, I've always been big when I'm prospecting on using statistics off the MLS to share with people I'm talking to.
Okay.
By doing that, you learn the market. You learn how many homes are for sale in town. You learn how many pendings there are in the past 30 days because you're sharing those on the phone, right? So I have my MLS open and I'm looking at those numbers, while I'm talking to people.
Okay. Excellent. So your first year you did first full year, you did 47 transactions. Okay. How did you progress from there?
Second year I did 60.
Mm-hmm.
Third year, I went back to 47.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Little complacency.
It was. I don't want to say it came easy, but what I was doing, like putting in the hard work and learning the scripts and using the scripts, it worked. And I just thought that just by doing that, it would just naturally keep getting better. And then year 3, I think it was a wake-up call. Like I was just going through the motions, and it was like a really like a wake-up call. Like you can't just go through the motions. You always have to be on and focused on what you're doing,
Okay, good. And so what changes what, if any, changes did you make, and was year 4 better?
Yes, year 4 was last year, and I did 75 last year.
Okay, good. Excellent.
Yeah, and I would say, so what changes? A couple things. One, I did really start to focus on my database. After my first year, I realized by listening to a lot of the big producers that the database is the key to growing your business. So I did add that piece. So I believe the accumulation effect of calling the database started to come into play last year. But I also did something that I talked to my coach about. I do whatever my coach says. So the coach always says, hey, more contacts, more contacts, more contacts. I do that, right?
Who's your coach? Sorry, who's your coach?
I started with Ron Cronin, and then I have Kevin Eldred for the past couple of years.
Okay, right. Yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
Go ahead.
So, but by just doing what my coach says and hitting whatever contact goal it was at the time, I found myself rushing through the calls and not listening. So what I did last year as the adjustment was, yes, have a contact goal, definitely have a time set goal. I prospect for a minimum of 3 hours every day, but don't go chasing the contacts. Be present in the call. And if I get 18 contacts instead of 25, that's okay. I'd rather have 18 quality than 30 just rushing to hit a number. That was the big difference for me, I think.
And that made a big difference for you.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic. Excellent. So changing gears a little bit. So, well, let me back up. This is your 5th year in business. Your goal for this year was going to be what?
100.
100 transactions. Good. And then COVID came. Yeah. So that change anything? You just didn't care? Tell me what's going on there.
Well, I actually, when COVID came, it was scary for everybody, but I don't want to say I didn't care, but I wasn't going to let it change my goals. I was going to keep going back to that mindset I talked about earlier, where keep trying different things until you find something that works. So I doubled up prospecting time. I listened to all great Zoom videos that were out there and stayed proactive each day was my goal.
Okay. Great. Excellent. So closed and pending so far this year?
We're at 76 today.
76 today.
Yes. Yeah.
And we're 7 months into this, I guess into the 8th month.
Yeah.
So that puts you on track for more than 100.
It's better to be a little ahead than a little behind, right?
Woo, baby. All right. So I love it. All right. So tell us what you did. I mean, you January and February, nobody had a problem, half of March, but then all of a sudden March comes. Like I'm hearing from almost everyone, there was a little bit of a moment of, whoa, everybody was a little bit taken back, even the super duper stars. Okay.
Sure.
And, but then everybody buckled down that was going to buckle down and kept forging forward. In your case, you're at 75 closed and pending. That is awesome.
Thank you.
Besides prospecting and more prospecting, and did you get better at your scripts and dialogues? What can you remember some changes that you made that you're holding on to right now?
So I would say one of the most important things was that I had good role play and accountability in place, so that daily I had other great agents who, inspire me, not only going through the same problems, but hearing that they were taking the same positive actions that I was taking made me feel that I was making the right decision. And listening to Mike's messages, with everybody around you, kind of freaking out, for lack of a better term, having that base around me was so important to just, because everyone else thought I was weird. Everyone in my office, why is he still working? But it paid off, so I think that was a huge piece of it.
Good for you. Excellent. Did you have a management support from your broker that way, or was it something that you got from
Jerry, how are you?
outside?
So I'm good. How is everything?
We have a great broker for sure, and they're always there for support. At the same time, it was kind of my Mike Ferry network, people in the mastermind group I've created there and joined there, and role play partners for Mike Ferry that were really kind of, I would say, key.
Okay, great. Very cool. Excellent. Okay, so what's the post-COVID plan right now? Any changes, anything that you're going to do differently?
Good question. So post-COVID, I think it's try to keep the momentum, not get complacent. Try to hit that 12 listings a month is always my goal. And I usually in between 8 and 12 every month. Right now, the most challenging thing in my market is still finding the listings, because anything I'm listing that's priced well is selling. So all my energy is going into the listings right now.
So how far down is your market year over year in terms of listings that are taken?
Say that again.
So they say that there's less listings available in most of our markets. Okay. Yeah. So how much lower is yours this year than it was last year?
Okay, good question. So Hartford County, which is the county I work, usually has about 3,000 listings, give or take. Right now we're right around 1,550, 1,600 actives.
So last year at this time you had about 3,000-ish?
Twice as many.
Right. Okay. And okay. So fascinating. So what are you doing different? What are your sources of business? Because they're clearly less expireds.
Yeah. So after that first year, and really kind of just listening to Mike and him talk about we should have different sources, I really made it a point to always add a different source and always try to prospect different sources. And I think that helps with versatility. And I also think it helps in prospecting calls. You might be on a phone with an expired and it might really turn into more of a, just listed, just sold call, or you're on a phone with a for rent by owner and then now they're for sale by owner, or vice versa, right? So being able to weave and prospect a lot of sources helps with that. So I do expired, FSBO, for rent by owner, just sold, database, absentee, little probate. Anything that agents that I talk to have success with, I dive in and I try to learn.
So what's your method for learning those things, for taking those on? How's that work?
I find an agent that I know does it well and I reach out to them. For example, just listed, just solds. I always do them, but a couple of years ago, I was like just dialing them and just not getting anything. And I'm like, I'm doing something wrong. So I reached out to Landon Anglin, who's another, great Mike Ferry agent, and he's great at those. He gets, 20, 25 listings a year there. So I just picked his brain, role played with him on them, and it's helped. I've got a couple of those listings this year. So.
Got it. So you're using the resources that are around you to leverage yourself that way.
Yes.
So right now, what we like for rent by owners, it's kind of a moneymaker for us right now, but I'm curious, where do you get your for rent by owner leads?
RedX.
RedX. Okay. Got it. Okay.
Where do you guys get yours?
Typically, well, RedX is one of the sources, but we're finding that Arch Telecom, Steve Cortez's company.
Okay.
Cheap commercial, I guess, but anyway,
that's
what this is. It's a mastermind group. Okay. This week, they're fantastic for those kinds of numbers.
Good.
Are you doing anything with Airbnb?
I have not. I have not.
Okay.
Right now, I would say for rent by owners are something I put a lot of time in, that they're hot right now. What I love about them is it's something, a lot of times I just do the appointment right on the phone. I never have to see the property or anything. So I love them from that respect. They're efficient. For sale by owners are good, and database is something I'm really putting a lot of energy into always.
So talk to me about your database. How big is it?
About 500 people right now. I've got it up to that.
Okay. And how often do you touch them?
I do what Mike says. I mail quarterly and I call him quarterly.
Okay, so 8 times a year, basically,
Yeah.
8 touches a year. Got it. And how many transactions are coming out of that 500 for you this year?
Ooh, good question. I don't have that. I don't have that number. Last year, it was about 30% of my business. This year, it's definitely up a little from that. I would guess 40% would be my guess.
So if you're going to do 100 transactions, you're going to do 40 from that, more or less.
Correct.
All right. And Mike says we should get 10%. If you're at 500, you're at 50. So you're in the strike zone.
Pretty close.
Good for you. Congratulations. You
And
are quite a disciple.
I don't know about that. I figure when I saw Mike and I saw the producers and the production they talked about, I was a believer. It just made too much sense. It was too logical. So it worked for other people.
Robert, let me ask you something. There's people around you that don't do what you do, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Why do you do what you do and do it with what sounds like blind faith at a pretty high level? To be doing 100 transactions a year from a standing start 5 years ago is pretty awesome in most people's book. And 100 transactions in Connecticut, it's still a low price point, isn't it?
Yeah, about $285 is my average sales price.
So I'm curious, when do you guys plan on moving to Los Angeles and we could work together?
I know.
100
it wasn't for the family, man.
It wasn't for what?
It wasn't for the family.
I know, but they have jets for that. You could commute. Okay, so I asked you a question about your superpower. So, and I have a couple of ideas what it might be, but you tell me what you think your superpower is. Okay.
So I definitely don't think I have a superpower. Like there's nothing.
Baby, you have a superpower.
Well, here it is. I made a choice, and I believed in that choice, right? So I made a choice to do this and commit to it. I wasn't going to experiment with it for a month or try it for 2 weeks. I quit my job, and I had a newborn on the way and a 2-year-old. So there was. Yeah. And my wife's a teacher, so we had some income, but it wouldn't have gotten by. So there were no other options. So when I committed to doing it, I was going to do it. And I took that discipline of prospecting every day and doing what Mike says, and I genuinely do it every day. And there's nothing special to that. But if you can take the discipline of doing it and stick with it, even when it doesn't go right, I guess that would be the superpower, is I stick to the plan even when it's not going right.
That's the superpower. That's exactly right. Good for you. So objection handlers, do you have one that you like better than another that gets you when that situation comes up? That's it. When I use that one, 99% of the time, I get it.
Yeah, if I have somebody that's pushing back, I like to say, Neil, I'm curious. With when we're talking about a $500,000 investment, do you think getting a second opinion could be to your benefit?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, great. Well, I have a 12:30 on Wednesday or a 2 o'clock on Thursday. What would work better for you?
Well, we're kind of tired of this whole process. I mean, I don't know if we want to do that.
Okay. No, I know it. It is a frustrating process. I mean, if we were to meet for 15 minutes and what I said didn't make sense, you could always still hold off, right?
Yeah, guess I could.
All right, cool. Well, what time would work better for you, that Wednesday or Thursday?
Good job. All right, my friend. Very, very cool. Excellent stuff. So you open to take a couple of questions here?
Sure, yeah.
Absolutely. All right, so let's open it up. Robert, 100 transactions. Who wants to go first? Go ahead, Josie, please.
Robert, number one, how old are you? And number two is, I forgot to ask him that.
I did. I forgot.
And are you the only MFO agent in your office? I got that impression.
So no. So I'm 39, and holy cow, there must be 10, at least 10 to 15 Mike Ferry agents at my office.
In your company, in your
In my
office?
company, yeah, correct.
Interesting. Okay, great questions, Josie. Thank you. By the way, you don't look 39, so whatever you're doing, you keep it up. Go ahead, Patty.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for coming on. My question is, when you first started, you said that first full year you made almost 50 deals. Were you like prospecting all day long, not just the 3 hours, or how'd you do it?
Good question. So no, I started small. I couldn't just start prospecting for 3-4 hours a day. I wasn't used to it. It was too hard. So I started at 2 hours, and my goal was literally 12 contacts a day. But it was exclusively expired FSBO, and I was just hunting old, new. I would just call them and call them and call them.
Wow.
Good
Thank you.
questions. Staying focused.
Yeah.
Look, you burn the boats. That metaphor, Robert,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
burn the boats. You had no option. Sometimes I think the problem in our lives is we have too many options.
Correct.
You didn't have any options.
Yeah. If you can go back, if there's a place to go back to, as soon as it gets difficult, you're going to go back. You have a place. But if there is no place, you're going to stay in there and figure it out.
Yeah, good thought. Great thought. Okay, somebody else had their hand up. Iris, go ahead.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Robert. Robert, I'm Iris. My question is, how does your schedule look like from the time you wake up and to the end of the day?
Sure. Good questions. So I wake up at 5 o'clock, and I do emails from 5 to 6 p.m. Then I have 2 school-age children. So now obviously we're in a little bit of a holding period, but normally I help get the kids ready for school between 6 and 7. So my wife can take them to school. And then at 7 o'clock, I head to the office. Do a little role play from 7:10 to 7:30. I prospect 7:30 to 10:30. I do more role play 10:30 to 11. At 11 o'clock, I have a staff check-in with my assistant. Then I take lunch, and my listing appointment times are 12:30 and 2. And then I go home at 3:30. At 3 o'clock, I'll finish my emails for the day, and I'll go home at 3:30.
You got to love this guy. I'm out of here by 3:30.
Hello.
Good job. Woo, baby. I love it. So
How well do your schedule looks really, really effective, very good. How well do you make it very efficient and effectively for you?
What do you mean?
How disciplined are you, or how do you work it to make your schedule be efficient and effective for you?
Iris, maybe this way. Do you ever get off track?
Yes. Yes. I would say 90% of the time I follow the schedule, right?
Okay.
Every now and then I'm human, things happen, it throws me off. At the same time, I put a lot of thought into creating the schedule, and that would be some good advice I would give to anybody. Don't just make a schedule because you think it's what you should do, or because someone told you you should do it. Look at your life. Look at what you want to do with your family, your health, your hobbies, and then make a schedule that is not going to pull you away, that you're not going to fight. Make a schedule that you're like excited to do, right? So that's a schedule that fits my family. It fits my hobbies. It allows me to do what I want to do away from work. And I enjoy doing it. So there's really no pull. It's just, I created this, I enjoy it, I made a commitment, and I'm going to stick with it every day.
Good for you. Good job. Iris, is that the answer you were looking for? All right, perfect. Excellent. Okay, who else has a question here? Go ahead, Tess.
Okay, so you've developed this, I guess you've really polished yourself, and you have your role play partners and accountability. So what would be your decision to say, okay, it's time for me to go to another accountability group, or maybe change my role play partner? Because it seems like you're very good at that as far as practicing and
Yeah.
role plays.
So I guess it would be commitment, right? So if when I have a new role play partner or join a mastermind group or something, you know, if that other person is always on time and
Uh-huh.
trying, that's
Yeah.
all I need, because that's all I'm going to bring, right? But if they're late, they're not there a couple times, then I can't have that, because I am very scheduled. So does that make sense?
Makes sense. Yeah. Uh-huh. Thank
Okay.
you.
So Robert, to continue on, I think where Tess might have been going, or maybe not, is you get a lot clearly out of the people you're working with. What would make you decide to change partners or to look for another mastermind group? What has to be happening?
So I'm always, I want to reach out to people I can learn from. And like the example I gave, it might not be like just a long-term thing. Like the example I gave with Landon is, it might be, you know, there's something specific you want to work on, you reach out. And what's great about the Mike Ferry community is I found all these people that are doing enormous amounts of transactions, like they want to help. If you reach out to them and want to work on something, you know, 90% of them are going to give you some time if you're punctual and respect their time.
Yeah, I think that showing up and being on time is huge. Yeah, good for you. Good job. Other questions?
Can I ask a question, Neil?
Please,
Can I ask
please,
a question?
please.
I'm just wondering, do you have any specific advice for a brand spanking new agent?
Yes. I would say keep it simple. Don't try to be great at everything at once. Pick one thing. Pick prospecting, pick a time you want to do it, and then do that every day. Don't let anything take you away from that prospecting. That's how you create a habit, and that's something that you can build off of. Don't focus on the results, just focus on the effort, and the results will come.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Great advice. Thank you.
Hello, Robert.
Good.
Can I ask a quick
Michael,
question?
go ahead.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much, Robert. My name is Michael. I was really, learning a lot from you. And then my question is, what was my question? I had something there. Your admin staff. So once you take a listing, how would you handle it from there? Like, what would you do? What would your admin staff do? And how many admin staff do you have?
So I just have one transaction coordinator who works for me personally. And then the Century 21 broker I have actually has a listing coordinator that works, that helps all the agents at the brokerage.
Okay.
So when I take a new listing, and this is a good question. So no matter what stage you are in your career, whether it's 5 deals a year or 50, having a system for everything is really important. So you know what to do in every situation. That will keep your time free to prospect and find new listings, right?
Yeah.
So that's why this is a good question. So for me right now, I get a new listing and I give the new listing to our listing coordinator here at the office, and she will input the listing. My photographer will give her the pictures, and then they'll make it live all by themselves.
Perfect. Great.
Okay, good
Thank
thought. Good question, Mike. Thanks.
Neil,
Okay,
we need
go ahead, Josie.
We need a listing person like that.
Yes, we do.
That's why I asked the question.
Okay, questions.
I had another question, if it's okay.
Sure.
Rika, when you did the for sale by owners, when you first started, did you have just a certain mileage that you would stay around so that you're not going around the whole country?
Good question. So yeah, it was like an hour. I would drive almost anywhere. And now I've reduced it to 45 minutes. So it's still pretty far, but I want to get that to about a half hour. 20 minutes is my long-term goal, but yeah, I wasn't picky when I started.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
good. Good advice. Good. Cherry, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I was just curious. Do you work on weekends?
No.
Awesome. Thank you.
Why would he work on weekends? He's done at 3:30 in the afternoon. I love that. I love that. Good job. To get bigger, you have to get what? Smaller. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Questions. Robert, did you have your hand up? Sorry. No? Okay. All right. Questions for Robert, please. Okay. Robert, couple of recommendations or suggestions that we can all walk away with that would help us, in your opinion, one or two thoughts as we race off for the balance of today, but as we go post-COVID on everybody here. Give us a couple of, things maybe you haven't talked about that have been helpful to you.
Yeah. So I've always been a big believer in keeping it simple. I love that last quote you just gave. Think about how many listings you want to take in a month, and really make that where your energy goes. I never chased around buyers. I know that was oftentimes a faster paycheck, but I always knew I was in this for the long haul. So if you're going to be in it for the long haul too, let those buyers go. It's okay. That 2-3 hours on the phone, you will find 2 or 3 listings. You will be able to control your schedule, control your time, instead of chasing that one paycheck. Now, when I say start small, I mean, just think 1 a week, 1 listing a week. If you're literally prospecting all morning long, you're going to accidentally step into 1 listing a week. It's just going to happen, right? And then once you hit that and you can do it consistently, make it 2 listings a week, right? But don't jump up until you're hitting that small number, right? I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay, no, that's good. Thank you. Good stuff. Okay, unmute yourselves, please. All right, Robert, great job. Thank you. Woohoo! Powerful, man. Powerful. So what we tend to do now is we'll kind of ask a question, what did we learn today? We'll do that for the next 5 or 6 minutes. You're welcome to stay, Robert, and kind of listen to what some of us had learned. Or if you need to move on, we totally get that. Okay.
Well, Neil, thank you for having me, because I learned so much from these, agent interviews when I started. So, it's an honor for you to have me, and I hope that some agents learn something from me as well.
And we appreciate you big time. We're going to post your name and email address, phone number in our Zoom group chat area. So if somebody wants to connect up with you, maybe give you a referral, what the heck, you're open to that, right?
I am, anytime.
Good job.
All right, guys. Thank
All
you.
right, fantastic. Robert, can you connect with Steve Cortez and send him the credential, please? The password. Okay, good. All right. So what did we learn today? What did we learn? What did we learn from Robert? Robert, what did we learn from Robert?
Well, first of all, it's great that he was here. Sorry that I was late, had that other meeting. But the thing that I hope people got out of that is he said, make a schedule that is not going to pull you away, that you're not going to fight. Make a schedule that excites you. So, if getting off at 3:30 in the afternoon excites you, then make a schedule so you can get off at 3:30 in the afternoon, or if not working weekends excites you, then make a schedule where you can do everything Monday through Friday. But I think that's the real important thing, is make a schedule that excites you.
Perfect. Great thought. Good stuff. Okay. What else did we learn? Go ahead, Armin.
Neil, I got here a little late also. Did he say he started with Mike Ferry from the very beginning, first day, or no?
Yes.
Because what I'm seeing is I was texting with one of our other agents during the interview, and we text, back and forth how many he did. in my opinion, and you tell me, he had to have some kind of natural charisma to get 47 deals his first year.
First full year.
First full year. To
Yeah,
get
he
that
did.
many.
He did 15 or 18 in the first 6 months when he started.
Oh, okay, I didn't. I
Okay,
missed that part.
and
Okay.
so he was really, it was real. His first full year started 6 months after, and he had already done, let's call it 18 or 20 deals.
But still, that's
Okay.
impressive. I mean, he had
No,
to have
it's
some
huge.
ability.
But Armand, we have agents even in our own company that do that. Okay. So it is possible. Remember, he did something most agents never do, and that's burn the boats. He had no options.
Yeah.
He
yeah.
burned the ships. He went ashore and burned the ships. He was making $60,000 a year as a school teacher. His wife was making some money, I get maybe similar money, but wasn't enough to pay the cost. And he decided one day that he was going to do this, went into his broker, and they said to the broker, I'm gonna go into real estate full time. And the broker said, whoa, hold on. Hold on. You know, you got a job, you got kids, he had a little one on the way. And I guess they introduced him to Mike Ferry or some Mike Ferry tapes or something like that. And the rest is history. But he does the program. That and
But one of the points I want to make
go ahead.
Is that you don't have to necessarily have that natural charisma, that you can learn your craft. You know what I mean? I mean,
100%.
Not everybody does that the first year, but there's a whole lot of people that start off at 10, 20, 30, 40, and the next thing you know, they're doing 50 or 60 a year. And it's because they learn their craft on a consistent basis. So
right.
I'm in that group.
Yeah. Got it. Okay, good. So what else did we learn today? What else did we learn today? Go ahead, Tess.
He mentioned about we need to prospect every day, even if it does not work or it doesn't go right.
Right.
So our mindset is really very important. There are times that, we feel like it's not going to work. I don't know what's going on. No matter what happens, just believe on it and it will happen. And also, I like the idea what he does is he sets his goal a month or not. I think, did he say a week or a month? I think a month.
Well, he said
with
his monthly goal is 12 listings, but he said that we should start with a simple goal of 1 listing a week and just figure out how to get 1 listing a week.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a great mindset.
Totally. I wrote down here, and I didn't make a good note of it, but the thing that touched me, and when I say touched me, I felt the emotion. He said, I made a choice and I committed to it. He made a choice and he committed to it. My sense is there's very little that we could do to get him off course. Would you agree or disagree?
Agree.
Okay. With most of us, there's very little we have to do to get us off course. Interesting, huh? There's a guy that we would have difficulty getting off course. And a lot of us, because we have a lot of options, we're easy to get off course. And that was what I took from that. Go ahead, Josie.
One of the things he said was he's very adamant about following his schedule, which is what Mike Darda says too. People try and call you and you say, I'm busy,
right.
I'll get back to you later.
Right.
That's not being pulled off schedule. But what I liked, he uses the stats from the MLS right in front of him to talk to his clients.
Mm-hmm.
He said he had to get back, and it wasn't just the numbers of contacts. He had to be on and focused, and it was fewer contacts, but more powerful. Yeah.
All good stuff. Very good. Good stuff. All right. What else did we learn today?
He said to focus on the effort and not the results. Just
Yeah.
build good habits.
Build the habits. And listen to your broker. I heard that. Listen to your broker. And there was a message as we get segue in here. Work condos. Don't ask why, just do it. Okay? I'm not going to explain it anymore. Okay, Robert, I think we have, let's go to the next.
All right. What did you get out of that, Neil?
Well, it was, I think I shared that. It was, I made a choice.
Listen to your broker?
No, that's the second idea. Nobody's going to listen to that one. I'm just going to go right past that one. No, I made a choice and I committed to it. I mean, even when I made a choice, ladies and gentlemen, make the choice, a choice, and commit to it, whatever it is. And you can see what happens. We have 38 or 40 different videos, interviews of great agents that are kind of saying the same thing. You know, they make a choice and they commit to it and they work it out. Here's another example. He's a guy's 39 years old. I mean, by my calculations, I didn't ask him, but I'm pretty close. I think in my numbers, he's making somewhere close to $1 million a year. $1 million a year in Central Connecticut. Hello. You know, what's the average sales price? $1.40? Yeah, exactly. Good job. Okay. Robert, it's 103,
All right.
baby.
So we got kind of a special treat here so don't go anywhere. Okay, because we got, first of all, we got Steve Cortez, who I already saw is logged in. So we're excited to have Steve here. He's from Arch Dialer, Arch Communications. So he's going to go over some really cool programs. I got to tell you, we've had a number of agents utilizing their services, their numbers, and it's just nothing but rave reviews. So he's going to go over some of that stuff. And then right after that, I'm going to go over an alternate 5510. So because we can't door knock or anything right now, I'm doing an alternate 5510. I'm going to show you how to do that, everything virtually, and also implementing some of Steve's stuff. So some really cool things that we're going to do here over the next hour. So 1:10, we'll get started. So take a quick break, grab some lunch, run around the house, make sure the kids are alive, the basics, you know.
Text your broker and say, I'm committed.
Text your broker and say, I'm committed. You know, not all at once, because then it might crash the system.
Exactly.
But, you know, so 1:10, we'll get started. So 6 minutes, take a quick break. Make sure you're back here at 1:10. Damn it. Sorry, Steve. One person already left.
That's all right.
So I apologize. But we'll see if we can get the other 40 to stick around. All right, 1:10, quick break.
All
Let's
right,
go.
buddy. Good job.
And then a reminder today, too, at 3:30, Diane's got a new NLP class. So that'll be at 3:30 as well. So we've got more and more stuff going on here today. Good stuff. while we're waiting, we're going to get started here in 3 minutes. I want to share something with everybody. So a couple weeks ago, Annie had sent out an email for people to get your updated headshots, social media tags, about you, things like that, to update the company website. And we had like 12 of you respond. Appreciate that. Let me give you an example of why we're trying to do this to help build your online profiles. Let me give you an example, okay? We all agree that people will Google you and look you up. So here's Gilbert Garcia. Gilbert Garcia, got an updated headshot. We have his Facebook, Pinterest, his Twitter, his YouTube. Here's his website, his contact information,
Very
area
handsome.
served, specialties, designation, languages, awards, education, his about me. That's Gilbert Garcia. And then here's one of our other agents. So if I'm a consumer and I'm looking for a real estate agent and I go to Century 21 Masters website and I see this or this, who am I going to choose? I'm going to pick this guy. Now, look, I'm all for Gilbert getting whatever referrals go to Century 21 Masters. Good agent, no problem. But this is why when we asked to update your information, we're trying to make your online profile look better than that. So try to get that stuff over to Annie so we can update it in the system so your profile can look a little bit better as well. I just wanted to share that with you.
Thank you, Robert.
Who's
Thank
that?
you. This is Aria, and she's spending the day with us, and Nana is spoiling her to death right now, aren't you?
She's got Nana money.
She's got Nana money. Exactly.
That's my all-time favorite line. That's my all-time favorite. She's got Nana money.
That's for sure.
All right.
All right. Good
Cool.
stuff. Good stuff.
All right. So let's get started. All right. So Steve Cortez, welcome to our Zoom office. Thanks for taking out the time. Know you're a busy guy, man, but I really appreciate you being here with us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, no, of course, of course. So again, just to kind of reiterate to everybody, so Steve is with Arch Agent, Arch Communications. Everyone calls it something different. He's with Arch, okay?
There you go.
And they, they have dialers, they have numbers, things like that. I gotta tell you, and we don't get any money from Steve. We don't get any money for promoting him. But we really think that the numbers that he's able to pull if you get the premium service are the best out there right now. And you can't door knock. So calling is really the name of the game right now. And you might as well get the best numbers. So he's got some really great stuff. And so we wanted to have him come on, share a little bit about what they're doing, some of the products they have, because we think this is things that can benefit you. So some of you have already joined, and we get rave reviews about the numbers. So some really cool stuff. So Steve, I'm going to let you take it away and kind of do your thing there, buddy.
Okay, Robert, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with your group. And yeah, I see several people on here that are using us, and I appreciate that. And thank you for your patronage. What we try to do is very simple, and that is to help you generate listing opportunities. And by mining data, scoring data, and then delivering it to you so that you virtually takes all the effort out except for the biggest effort, which is the prospecting and the ability to convert them. But we're real focused on accuracy, and we've built a lot of proprietary logarithms to help with accuracy. So in the data world, it's a lot more than just having good data providers, but it's the ability to manage the data and present to you which is the right contact information. So I'm going to show you a little bit on it if I can, and just to let you know what I think that we do different. I mean, I know there's a lot of guys out there that do this stuff. There's Cole, Realty Resource, and RedX, LandVoice. I think what we do differently than everyone is I look up contact information in real time, and it's just a different way of doing it. So I don't actually have any of the contact information until you want it. And that way I can hit the tax roll at that moment. I can, I pull the contact information, I run it through a proprietary logarithm we built, and then we produce the result. And it happens in seconds, but it makes a huge difference versus purchasing hosted data that's been sitting on my servers and I just carve it out and give it to you when you want it. And it makes all the difference in the world. And it also, by doing it in real time, it serves the purpose that I can sell it to you affordably. Because if I give you 100 records and you only call 15 to get what you want, I still money on that other 85 records, and then I can sell you the 15 if that's all you at a much better price and put a lot more effort into the accuracy. So that's what we're all about. But we're not about quantity. We're not carpet bombing. We're not trying to sell to ISAs. I'm trying to sell a concierge service to specific realtors that